What's up, everyone? Hope everybody out there is off to an amazing week. We got some amazing racing taking place this weekend. We got some firsts happening. We got the first black female racing in the ARCA Series this weekend at Hickory Motor Speedway. We also got the first squirrel racing the ARCA Series at Hickory Motor Speedway, which we're going to get into all this right here. Of course, that's LS George out there with the Cletus McFarland brand. And, man, first time for both these drivers out there to take this track. And so we're going to talk about this a little bit because, man, I feel like this weekend right here is a big weekend for more reasons than just for George especially because it's a test to see if he can continue to run in the ARCA Series and everything else, move to different tracks. But I think it's got a lot more to do with that because I think this weekend is leading up to Rockingham for Cletus McFarland, where this is big for their brand because it's either going to be big weekends for them to prove themselves and show themselves, or it could turn bad and not look as good for them because there's a lot of talk about different people who are not happy with them coming up through the way that they are to get in these rides. So we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. We're also going to be talking about Dystany Spurlock, the black female who's getting into the ARCA Series and her racing career. And also, at the end of this, I want to show you, take a look at this right here. I visited out to the U.S. Legends Cars engine facility this week. Good friend of mine works out there, pretty much a lifelong friend. And I'm going to show you some behind the scenes, some cool stuff going on out there. But let's talk about this right here with the racing and everything else that's taking place this weekend out there at Hickory Motor Speedway. This is the ARCA East Series. This is different from what you're used to seeing with Cletus out there with the ARCA Menard Series. This is the East Series. Not as many cars. I think 24 cars are entered into this race right here. So, man, let's take a look right quick. Let's take a look at the entry list because we got George out there in the Zero car, that Heat Wave. Bloomberg out here, Fast Track Racing. You saw in the last episode. I talked about them a little bit. Out there doing their thing. And here's probably your winner right here with Joe Gibbs, Max Reeves, and the Cookout Toyota Cookout-sponsored race. Yeah, we know how that works. A lot of money behind that. And then you get Connor Hall here. You can see the different names as we go down through, and then we get here to Dystany Spurlock. This is Carl Longcar. This again, she's the first African-American female to race in the ARCA Series right here. And then we got Nitro Motorsports. Only got one car here. Now, if you're familiar with the regular ARCA Series, you know they have 4 cars out there, but one with Nick Tucker behind the wheel. Isaac Kitzmiller, I really look for him to be really strong in this as well. But there it is, man. There's your lineup for this weekend's race. And again, this is a different setup from what we're used to with the racing that Cletus has done in the ARCA Series. But still, pretty hefty field. But again, we got that Joe Gibbs Toyota out there that, we got money. That's where we're at. We got money racing against these other teams. I don't like that. I don't want to say I don't like to see these teams in there, but there's part of me that just, man, any smaller team's not going to compete with Joe Gibbs' money, obviously. So, yeah, I'm putting my money on the Joe Gibbs to be the winner out there. But there's a lot of other racing taking place this weekend, too. If you're going to be out there, you already know about this. If not, 4 cylinders racing, late models racing. Let's take a quick look at what's taking place out here at Hickory Motor Speedway. Friday, got practice out there for the local drivers and everything else. Then tomorrow, you can see we got all the credentials, everything else. 4-cylinder practice starts at 1 o'clock, followed by the late model practice at 1:30. Then we got ARCA practice at 2:15. Then we got qualifying. 3:25 starts for the 4 cylinders and the late models. Then at 4 o'clock, we got pole qualifying for the ARCA Series. Then 4:45, 4 cylinders race. 5:25, the late models race. And then we get to the autograph session. So if you want a little Squirrel McNuts autograph, you better get out there. 7:30, race starts, Cookout 200 laps, 72.6 miles of racing, Hickory Motor Speedway. So a full day of racing. If you're in the area, go out there and take it in and enjoy it. But again, man, a lot of questions right now as to how, George is going to do out there. Again, I think there's a lot riding on this. Obviously, this is his first time out there racing an ARCA car. Did some test laps out there with Landon Huffman, kind of showing him the ropes and teaching him stuff. But it's going to be a completely different atmosphere when you get out there racing with other cars. You're not going to be able to run that groove that you were in practice. You're going to search around for different areas. So it's going to be a very interesting race to see how this plays out. I'm going to follow up a little bit more with this here in just a moment. But now I want to get over here to Dystany Spurlock. This young woman right here, again, she's the first African-American female who's going to be running an ARCA Series right here. but she's not new to any forms of motorsports. And she's probably going to be a new name for a lot of people, but she comes from the drag racing background. She's been behind the wheel, different things as well. And she, in 2019, the stuff I've learned in 2019, she had a late model program put together. She was planning on going out there and running a local series, and COVID hit, kind of nixed all that. So she got back into her other forms of racing. But she's also been out there. She's done this racing right here with Skip Barber and everything else. So she's familiar behind the wheel of different types of race cars. And let's take a look at her history right here, because 2025, she became just the second black woman in history to compete in the NHRA Pro Stock Motorcycle class. 2024, set a world record in real street bike competition, 7.32 at 178 miles an hour. Damn, that's cooking. 2022, finished second in points in the Man Cup 460 Index class with multiple wins and podiums. 2019 became the first African-American female to win a 460 bike final. I mean, she's got credentials. She's been out there doing her stuff, and she's been out there in the late models here at Hickory. This year, she's run a couple races out there. She was excited about her finish last week. Take a look at this.
Y'all, I finished. It's up. ARCA, next week, I'm so ready. Let's get it.
So already in my eyes right now, when I compare her going out there getting on this racetrack compared to George, she's already got more momentum behind her because she's got time out there in the late models and race conditions. She's been on the racetrack in race conditions with different scenarios with the racetrack, whether it's rubbering up or different things that take place with that. So she's got a little bit more knowledge there that George doesn't have. So again, this is going to be very interesting because he needs to perform in this race to be approved to continue moving on with the ARCA series. And I know everybody's ready for that shake and bake and everything else with Cletus and George being out there together. But you got to prove yourself. And this has been a big question from a lot of people. And I want to touch on this for a minute because I had to take a little break here over the last little bit. And I didn't really get to touch on the stuff with Cletus. And if you know me, I've followed a lot of different things from Cletus in the past. From I started with the Storms. That's how I took a liking to the guy, to be honest with you, and just followed it up through. But I know a lot of people are giving a hard time to Cletus about him getting out there, competing in the O'Reilly series, especially after what took place at Daytona earlier this year. But this is another aspect I want to put into this, because if you look at Tony Stewart coming from the drag racing where he's been recently, getting in the truck at Daytona, Tony didn't have the best of run out there. So again, here we go with Spurlock. You know, she's getting into this right here, but she's put herself in that position a little bit to be familiar with it. George has with practice, but that's a totally different story again with race conditions. And then we get over here to Cletus going to Rockingham. I honestly think that Cletus is going to impress some people at Rockingham. I've heard a lot of things. A lot of people saying, yeah, he's going to be 5 or 6 laps down if you don't wreck the car. You've heard all the different people talk about this and everything else. Yes, this is a different avenue to get to the seats of these race cars like this. But man, times are changing. And I, you know, as much as I feel that everybody needs to do their due diligence to come up through, I can't hate on Cletus for what he's done right now. I'm not going to judge him off the truck race. Yes, he went out there in practice. He did spin it, but I think that was a huge advantage for him to not lose it. He was on old tires. He was able to save it. He learned a hell of a lot with that right there. And now when we go into race conditions, he's also got everything else with RCR for this race. He's got all the other teammates. He's got their knowledge. He's going to have a car that's set up to win. It's going to be up to him how well he does or how bad he does. But I think he's going to surprise some people. That's my honest opinion. Could be completely wrong. But again, this is why these next couple weeks are big for that Cletus McFarland brand, because if this weekend at Hickory turns out to be a really bad idea or bad situation, that's going to start it. And if Rockingham, something bad happens to Cletus, let's just say some cars get tore up, the racing world is going to come unglued about things like this. So I'm wishing everybody out there the best of racing. I hope everybody does good. Hope we have some great racing. And but man, I want your thoughts. What do you think about this? The first black female coming into the ARCA series. Again, this is this is ARCA East. So, and I'm going to tell you, man, even if you go to the ARCA's website, ARCA is focusing on Spurlock for this race. You don't even see much of a comment about George with this right here. So I think the focus is being put on her a little bit, different from what we've seen with Cletus in the past, with them focusing really big time on him. So again, this is a weekend that he could really shine, or it could be really bad. So a lot on their shoulders. But again, hope everybody does great out there. Now I want to finish this up again, because this would be my path. If I got back to doing some stuff like this, I would be racing everything I could prior to getting my ass in an ARCA car. And I'm working on some things, man. And yeah, was out there at the U.S. Legends Cars Engine Facility. So, man, I want you to take a listen to this right here, and I'm going to leave you out with this. But, man, as always, hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you at Checkered Flag. But check out this engine shop and this horsepower of these Legends cars. I'm going to do something pretty cool here today. The IDEX, it's a Legends car facility, and out here to see a good friend of mine. His dad used to be my engine builder years ago, won a lot of races, a couple championships together, and now he's out here building engines with these guys. So we'll go out here and check this situation out.